to the show.
Trademark wave, I think.
Well, it is a trademark wave. Finish. Who's that in the middle, Jim?
Who's that in the middle? Is it our mystery guest?
It's our mystery guest.
Reveal yourself, mystery guest.
Elliott Banks Browne.
It's only the MX2 British champion.
Excellent.
Welcome, Elliott.
How are you?
Yeah, good, cheers. Good to be here.
So you've made the trip all the way down to sunny Bristol. You've had a long old season. Obviously, there's plenty to talk about after, but we'll talk about that later. But due for the time being...
Well, Elliott said first time in Bristol. What are you thinking of Bristol, then?
Like it. What I've seen so far.
One of the best places in Britain to live, apparently, according to a recent poll. Not in the rain, obviously, at the moment.
No, it was good. It's nice.
Did you get a parking space?
Just sneaked in. Nearly curved the wheel.
Can I start off as well, making a formal objection about the colour of my microphone shield? Last week, Bert and Ernie colour. Now, what have you done to me here?
It's a ladies.
It's a ladies' microphone.
It's a ladies' mic.
Very metrosexual. Thank you so much.
Well, we're going to chat to Elliott about his season. It's been, obviously, he's the British MX2 champion. He's had a year at GPs and there's a possible move to another team in the near future. So, Elliott, first of all, congrats on your British championship. Tough year?
Yeah, it's been a tough year. Like from a word go, it started off all right. Well, warming up to the season, I broke my shoulder pretty bad, so it set me back a long way, and I didn't really come into light. I didn't really tell anyone about it too much. But yeah, the beginning of the season was tough. Started off right, I won the first round of British Championship. The first few rounds went good, and then I don't know, it just had a bit of a low in the middle there.
Do you feel there's a pressure that once you're the champion, do you feel there's a pressure that it's your title to lose?
Yeah, there is a bit. Like, I didn't really think about it during the season. The first race was a bit stressful, but then after that, I felt good. Like, I felt like I had it in control. Everything was going good, and then I just had 2 or 3 rounds which were really bad.
Yeah. But the same as last year. Last year was up and down, wouldn't it? And as soon as you had some good luck, you'd have bad luck, wouldn't you?
No, exactly. Like, I think I've had more good luck this year than I did last year. Like, last year was hard to deal with.
Yeah,
but,
frustrating to see you because you do a really good race, and then the next race you'd be a no scorer, and it was just like we know you can do it, but then the bike was giving you problems, or there'd be some. You seem to have only luck was bad luck last year.
Yeah, exactly. Like this year, I managed to finish every race. Scored points in every race. Like, we had some bad races, had to fight hard, had some few crashes, but no, in the end it worked out good. I would have asked for a lot more in the GPs. I didn't show anything I could do in the GPs this year at all. We had a lot of issues setting a bike up. Like, we had a lot of little issues, and a lot of things that people don't know. And it's hard, Motocross is hard. When you have loads of little things on top of you, it's hard to get on top of that again.
Because we've all the way when we run in our other motor show, the radio side of it, and we were always saying about Elliott needs luck, and you just need that piece of luck. You have one good race, one bad race, something happens. As you say, it's just tiny little things, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Especially during a World Championship, like, them tiny little things make a big difference. Like, you get a bit of momentum in a World Championship. You see, like, there's people in a World Championship this year have been able to finish 12th. And they've been riding good, or get a good start and finish 3rd, on a podium. And I thought this year I was one of them people. Like, if I got a good start, I could do well. And I showed that in a few races. I had like a 7th and a couple of 9ths and stuff like that. But nothing like I showed at the end of last year. Like, going in at the end of last year, I thought I could be battling for podiums, and so did everyone else.
Second race in Valkenswaard this year, you were really strong, weren't you? We were thinking, you finally got the GP glitch out your system, and you're going to get some luck on them, and then it just seemed to fade away almost as quickly as it came.
No, exactly. Like I said, Qatar was not too bad. Like, started the season off in 12th overall there, so I had a bit of momentum. And then in Thailand, we had some issues with the heat and the radiators, so we just didn't finish the race there, and that sort of like ruined my momentum. And then I seemed to get it back in Valkenswaard, and I don't know. Just ever since then, it's just been up and down. Like, always changing bits on a bike, and I lost a bit of confidence, I guess, like halfway through a year, and it's really hard to make that up. Like, I wasn't getting my starts, I wasn't getting my usual starts, what I do. Maybe that was down to lack of confidence a little bit, I guess. But at the end of the year, I seem to get it back, and it's just a shame the season's finished now.
Just going back to you mentioned about Qatar, we had a view about it. A lot of people had a view about it, but we haven't actually spoken live to a rider as to what the view of the circuit was. Was it any good to ride? Was it interesting to visit?
It wasn't. It was a good experience. Like, it was a really, really good experience. I was quite lucky when I was there as well, because I had a friend out there, Matt Wilson. He used to train me, and he lives out there now. So he showed us around, showed us all what there was to do there. So I had a great time out there. But the track-wise, I quite enjoyed the track. I think people enjoyed the track, but it wasn't really a racetrack.
And was it as dark as people? Because we've heard people say they were going out to the equivalent of Halfords trying to get headlights to put on their helmets. Is that actually,
shadows?
Actually, was it that dark to ride?
It was bad. Like, some corners were perfect, some corners were like fine, but they didn't have the lights high enough. That was the problem. Like, they needed the lights a lot higher and a lot brighter, because it was fine when the track was smooth. Like, if they graded it each session, no problem. But as soon as the ruts were...
Hang on, the set is falling down.
Oh no, that was
yeah, he put it together.
Ignore that.
Well.
Ignore
Yeah,
that.
it's all right.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was saying now. Yeah, the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it was graded.
Yeah, but then the ruts started to come, and like, when you were looking in the ruts, like, when you were coming up to them, you thought they were really small, and you'd drop in them, and like, there'd be a really deep rut. But after you sort of, there was only a few lines to go in, so you sort of got a few laps under your belt, and you sort of knew what was going on. But the bumps also looked a lot smaller than they were. Yeah. So you were hitting bumps thinking they were small, and you'd get a big pitch and stuff. But it was sketchy, but I think they've learned a bit now, and maybe next year it'll be better.
Yeah, I mean, I think eventually they did say, look, we need to work on some things that will be better. I guess I'd ask whether you're riding it next year, but I guess that really depends on the team.
Why are you wearing a coat?
I'm not wearing a coat. I'm not wearing a coat. You are such a cruel man. I'm trying to do an in-depth sports interview here. You're just cocking around on the side. Thank you very much. The set's falling apart.
Your head is
Thank you, set designer.
We've actually got more lights this week, so your head is actually glary.
It is getting a bit hot in it. I might have to take my non-coat coat off, to be honest. But yeah, I guess we can't ask whether you're riding next year, because that will be dependent on which team you're with. Yeah,
no, exactly. Like, still in talks at the minute with teams, and I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'd love to go back there again, and yeah, we'll see.
On the 450?
Yeah, definitely on the 450. I'm definitely going 450 next year, and I'm really looking forward to that. So. We
were saying about, because obviously there's Jake.
I'm going to interrupt you here. We need 3 microphones here.
We do. We're going to get a new one for next week.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's the lead is mine.
Always enjoyed a 3-way.
We said because Jake's
Samco hoses.
Yes,
they're the best hoses as far as I'm concerned.
So Jake, we were saying about Jake. He's quite a big lad. Needs to watch his weight on the 250. Is it the same for you?
Not
what,
so
you're saying
much.
He's a big lad?
No, as in, because you're 6 foot. You know what I mean? You do, and you get bigger as you go older. Muscle and stuff.
It'll be.
It looks like you lost weight this year.
I did lose a fair bit of weight this year. Like, I'm normally easily, if I eat normally, I'm around 76, 77. But when we race, we want to be stoned.
Much the same as yourself, Ray. Yeah, fighting weight.
Yeah, but I lost a fair bit of weight this year, just to be competitive on the MX, too, especially in the World Championship. There's some light kids out there. But yeah, happy this year that I can eat what I want during the winter.
Okay.
Strict pie diet.
Okay. Well, that was sort of Elliott's brief talk about his successful year, second British Championship, and how many's out for the family now?
Well, I think it's 4 for my granddad, 2 for me, 1 for my uncle.
Ooh. Impressive stuff. I noticed you're drinking Red Bull. That's a very nice energy drink, isn't it?
It is a nice energy drink. He's got a Red Bull hat on as well.
Very nice. Do they make sticky tape for sticking up T-shirts in the life?
Unfortunately not, because I don't think they would have fell off if they did.
Yeah, that's right. But as you can see, we've got Elliott's top at the back. We're going to give away Elliott's kit. What have we got, Elliott? We've got a jersey.
Got a jersey, some pants, some goggles.
I might win those.
Eyewear.
That's pretty cool. Oakley goggles as well. That is pretty cool. Okay, well, we're going to do a little comp later on. News this week. Interesting news. It was obviously a Monster Energy Cup. Dungey going into the race with actually racing with Fox boots and not Nike boots.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I thought, as many people thought, I thought we had the deal with Nike.
Yeah.
It's always a curious deal, that deal with Nike, because they're providing those boots for Stewart and Dungey, and yet you couldn't buy the boots. it's all very well to have an athlete on your payroll, but if a product the public can't buy, I can't really see the point. If you can't buy Nike boots, then what's the point of somebody wearing them?
I don't understand why they were doing it. Maybe they were doing it for, I don't know. They couldn't have been testing sort of basketball shoes or anything like that.
No, and they were the best will in the world. I don't think they were even the best looking boot, to be honest.
I don't know. They were weird looking.
Well, yeah, but they were all a bit sort of black and one colour, so you couldn't tell what they looked like. But I don't know.
Well, he's wearing, obviously, and Stewart's still with Nike, and the rumour is that Stewart's looking for a boot. Well, he manufactures his own clothing company, Seven. So I wonder if this all of a sudden a boot called Seven appears.
Yeah. Some nice stuff. His kit that he was wearing from Monster Energy Cup was really good looking. So yeah, I guess it makes sense if he's got somebody can make the boots for him. I don't think it's him in his garage. I mean, I know he's got a big place and everything like that, but you can't be knocking him up. It's like James Stewart cobbling services.
No, I don't.
Are there still cobblers?
Is there cobblers? My mate was a cobbler.
Was he?
Decky, yeah.
He talk it?
Yeah, he does talk. Oh, me. Cobblers. Elliot probably wouldn't understand what. Do you know what slang is for cobblers? That's exactly.
Easy now. Don't be nasty to the guest.
But anyway, I'll bleep that out.
You didn't bleep out me swearing last week, did you?
No.
No, I slipped it in there, so to speak.
You did. I did get that.
If I don't agree with the story, just say cobblers.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute cobblers.
Yeah. So basically, Maxxis Championship events, dates and venues for next year. All right.
Yeah, they've had to change them about a little, haven't they? It's always that email was a little bit irritating, like the damn World Championship has taken over and now we have to move our dates around. Well, kind of in the scale of things, I don't think Giuseppe Longo's checking with the ACU to make sure that his calendar's all right, is he?
Back to Landrake for the first one. Landrake for you, Elliot. That's okay track, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Landrake's all right. Might be a bit risky that time of year. Could be a bit wet.
Still early, isn't it?
It is still early. But I don't know. I've ridden Landrake in the wet. It is wet for practice, and then it seems to dry out. As long as it's not raining all day at Landrake, it's normally pretty good with the weather.
Well, it was they raced it this weekend, didn't they? And they said much the same thing. I spoke to Barry Maunders, whose team were down there, and he said it absolutely lashed it down, and they thought the same thing. But by the first race, exactly as it's saying, there were some lines developing. It was actually turned out to be a reasonable race. So I guess the problem is if we can get people in and out of the pits, that's the issue, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, Luke Hawkins won the Phoenix Tour, so we'll give him a big congrats for that. So Ling, it's always a good track, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, especially for me, it's my hometown, a local race, and
not for us because it takes 5 hours to get there.
Yeah, from here 5 hours.
It's hard for everyone else, but it's easy for me. An hour, so we're good. Looking forward to that again.
Fox Hill.
I love Fox Hill. I love fast tracks, same as Landrake. That's pretty fast, flat out. Anywhere like that is my sort of track.
Canada Heights.
Love Canada Heights also.
Of course, we missed out on it last year, didn't we? Really, because that was one of the ones that was rained off.
That's a good racetrack. It always makes good racing. I don't know what it is about it, but
it's further into the season, so it's a good chance we'll get that one in there in May, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and it makes good lines. They prep the track well, and I don't know, just Canada Heights is just one of them tracks, but always seems to turn out good racing.
But actually, the worst hotel we've stayed at in the whole of the Maxxis series, that one under the Dartford Tunnel that you booked.
Man.
That was just horrid.
It was weird,
I think it's the only hotel I've been in that has a bottle opener attached to the side of the cupboard. I was always expected to be on the chain, but not even on the chain. It was the cupboard had a bottle opener on it.
That was horrendous, wasn't it?
And they had those pizzas, and the bloke was clearly just getting them out of the freezer, whacking them in, and chucking a few things on the top. That was awful. You were sick and bad after that, weren't you?
That was bad. Yeah. At the.
But there were the guys from Raptor who were there. They were there. They bought a few drinks in the bar. I think we were numbing the pain of the awful place he booked.
You actually spent some money, Jake and
Big Jake.
Big Jake, isn't it? Yeah.
So can I book the hotel next time?
You can if you want to pay for it.
Dartford Tunnel it is then.
Right. So Cullen, obviously there's one to be arranged in June, which could be Desert Martin again. I don't see a problem with Desert Martin. We need to go to Ireland, to be honest.
Yeah, Desert Martin's good. I don't know what's happened to Desert Martin recently. It has been overused a bit. When we get there now, it's not nowhere near as sand as it used to be. It used to be really deep, and it's really rocky now. This year it was pretty wet there, and it was just so slippery. It didn't really go down that deep, and if they could put some sand back on and make it nice again, then it'd be good. But Desert Martin is just an awesome place to go each year.
And then Culham, that's a new one back for this year. Sort of it's a fast track, isn't it?
Yeah, Cullen's fast track. I think they did a few changes there for a race they had this year.
It's a few years since the Maxxis has been there, isn't it?
Yeah, they did. There was I think it was the last one I went was they put a whoop section in the morning. It was gone by after about an hour.
Oh.
Yeah, they decided to take it out. I don't know why, but yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a strange old track because it's a fantastic venue. You know, with the River Thames and all that sort of parking's really good.
Yeah. I can remember doing we used to go to Schoolboy Nationals, and it was always in the summer at Nationals there, and the river would just be packed with kids, just diving in, just causing chaos. And
can we go rose tinted at this point there? Yeah, and everybody was happy, and it was a lovely time.
So again, we got in August a TBA. So that I don't really know where that could be. Any ideas?
No ideas at all.
Well, what's not on there? Little Silver's not there, is it? That's gone.
Yeah,
it could do with
Little
Bangor because
Silver.
Little Silver's a good one that didn't get included this year. I don't think they're going back to Farley again. I think that's off the schedule. What's your again? We got a chance to ask a rider about it. What's your view of Farley? Because we're fairly sceptical about it. Think it's fine for back in the day, but it's not actually a good Maxxis track. What do you think?
I don't know. The dirt's good at Farley. It is a really nice track to ride on. Dirt wise, it always makes nice lines. But for racing on, yeah, not so good. We had a good race there this year. Our last race was pretty good because everyone's sort of the same speed. It's hard to go much faster than anyone there. But I've always had good memories at Farley. I won a British Schoolboy Championship there. I've won a British Championship there as well. So I quite like it.
Really,
yeah.
No, you can't knock it. So
No, I mean, I've got good memories. I can remember seeing GPs there. I just think it's one of those ones that, bearing in mind,
I think it's
the style of the track.
For me, when the actual racetrack, there's not a lot on it in the open area part of it, and when you go into the woods, it's very tight and it's very old school enduro-ish sort of thing, and it just doesn't suit our sport nowadays. But each to their own. What can we say? But there we go. And then obviously the last one at Fat, I think that's a good one to stick the Fat Cat at the end. Guaranteed, you can ride it.
Definitely, it's going to be good, especially if there's it's going for a championship. It's definitely going to be a tough race, especially if they change the format back. Then Fat Cat's definitely going to be a tough one, but I'll be good. And Fat Cat, it doesn't matter if it's wet or dry. So.
Are they actually going to? Have they announced that they go back to two motos, 30 minutes? So they actually said they're going to do that.
No,
because they ought to. I can't help feeling.
I think riders, Elliott and Jake and Sean and whoever else it is appears who does GPs next year. I think basically my opinion is whatever the FIM sanction is on their races, the World Championship, every national championship should follow suit. So if it's 30 minutes, it should be 30 minutes in the UK. Or France, Germany, so everyone's on a level playing field.
I can't think, if the riders are used to running 30-minute races, then when you go to a GP, it's going to be, a 20-minute race is no good because if you condition yourself for a 20-minute race for the Maxxis, then you've got another 10 minutes on top.
Yeah,
it can't work, can it?
No. I had the same conversation the other day, especially for the kids. It's really, really hard for them. If I was doing 20-minute motos when I was a kid and then went and raced a 40-minute GP. The difference is unbelievable. 20 minutes, yeah, anyone can go good. If they've got a good fitness about them, but 40 minutes, no, it's totally different.
The other thing, aside from the fitness, was obviously the thing from the rider's side. From the point of view of a spectator, but you watch for 20 minutes and you're quite excited about it. It just goes on and on and on when you go to a GP to watch. The final bits of the race. I mean, okay, there's some overtaking goes on early if it can come through, but actually, it's just too long to watch. You lose interest in it.
Yeah, definitely. And also, in a race, you're always racing for 30 minutes. Normally, by a 35-minute mark, you've broke everyone who's around you, and you can pretty much just chill out, and you don't really have to try in the last 5 minutes so bad. But definitely 30-minute moto, I think, is going to make it a lot more exciting next year, especially for MX1, because I think people can go flat out for 30 minutes. It's only another 5 minutes what they've got on, this year, but taking that 5 minutes off makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think it's going to improve it. So ACU and Giuseppe, if you are listening, we like 30 minutes, and ACU, can you please follow that? Don't go for 3 moto format. We want it to make sure that our riders can actually compete in the GPs, so that the same length race is what we want. It's not going to make much of a difference to the people that come through the gate, because the same people come through the gate every year. The same 1,000-odd people come to every event. They're not coming, well, I'm not going to come because there's not 3 races. They want to see the racing and 2 decent races. That conditions our riders for GP is what we want.
Okay. Right, we're going to stop for a break now. We've done the first part of the show. We're going to show the brand new Fox advert for the new Instinct boots, and we'll be back in a second.
The Instinct boot, engineered to set the performance standard. It features 5 patented comfort components that consist of an athletic insole, a polyurethane midsole with embedded steel shank, TPU heel stabilizer for support, an exclusive Duratac outsole and burn guard built from a Fox proprietary compound which provides unmatched grip and durability. The patented buckle system utilizes a ball socket design and provides effortless fluidity as the boot flexes. Patented hinge lockout, which stops motion before hyperextension and provides fluid movement with 0 break-in time. RCI or ride control interface provides excellent connectivity to the bike. And Instinct was named Product of the Year by Transworld Motocross and Dirt Rider magazines.
Okay, we're back from our little break and a cup of coffee.
Nice video.
Nice boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, they switched it around.
Honestly, we did nothing at all.
You picked it up yourself.
Yeah, there's kids.
You look good on it. I did like the voice on that video. Well, there was a touch. I mean, we got the Sesame Street mics. There was a touch of Sesame Street about the voice on that video, wasn't there? Really?
Yeah, it was. There was something. There was a word in there. I didn't know what it actually meant.
No, there was a lot of the when we what's in the boot. You think, oh right,
Oratac sole and burn guard.
Nice. I always like a burn guard.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I got to say, they actually look. The bottom of the sole, they looked very similar in the design to the Nike ones.
Yeah.
Which is strange.
Well, we're happy to try them out.
Yeah.
Hint.
So, what have you actually been up to this week, anyway, Jim?
I seem to be working an awful lot this week. The weather's been quite so awful. I planned to get out on the bike, but that didn't really happen. So, working all over the weekend. Obviously, we were down at the beach race last weekend, so had things to catch up with this weekend. Maybe get out on the bike. Well, actually, I've got a new bike. I've got my eye on. So actually, I'm going to try.
New bike, road bike.
No, off-road bike. So I'm going to find a buyer for mine. So anybody wants an EXC 250, as featured in Moto Magazine, the one before last. Admittedly, it's one that people didn't like very much. But anyway, that bike is really very nice, and any offers would be nice. You can see the Twitter feed across the bottom, and no sensible offer refused.
Okay, nice.
Not to abuse my position at all in this.
We'll put a picture up. Okay, yeah,
so can we? Very good condition. Has the piston changed recently?
Well, we've got a new section. Well, new section is our first show. Well, it feels like we've been doing this forever, doesn't it? Really, but yeah, it's we got a new section. So basically, we get the fans to ask us a question about anything about motor related, racing, riders, MX Tracks, our forum, the website, the magazine, anything, and obviously questions to do whoever our guest is in the week. So obviously the guest this week is Elliott Banks Browne. And we have we've got a few questions.
Fantastic! Has it been just red hot with questions coming in?
It's been okay. You know what the industry's like.
Almost 6 then.
Yeah, 6 or 7. So basically, we'll start with the first one then. This is from Stuart Dawes. Who is faster on a mini bike, you or your cousin Bradley? Oh, sorry, that was from Ricky Bobby. So who is faster on your mini bike, you or your cousin Bradley?
That is from my cousin, I think. bjb@hotmail.co.uk.
Is this a family message board we've got here? Is your mum asking you what you want for tea now?
Well, my cousin, he asked me if he could use my mini bike once, and I've just got it back after a year, and the wheel is collapsed, and he managed to break his collarbone on it. So probably me, because every time he's on something, he has a massive crash and hurts himself.
That's a fair comment. So the fastest person on a mini bike is EBB, not your cousin, who's now not riding it at all.
Well, he's broken it, really.
Right, so our next question, this is from Stuart Dawes. Do you think your results in the GPs the last 2 years were hindered with mechanical problems, and did the team use a different tuner after the problems in 2012?
For sure in 2012, yes. You know, it was up and down. Like, I'd get a bit of confidence going, and then we'd have a bike problem or issue or something like that. So yeah, for sure in 2012 it may have been, but you know, we were doing everything we could to make the bike the best that we could, and you know, it's Motocross. This year we had the engines from KTM, like we had factory engines, but for some reason I just didn't gel with them. Like, we were given an engine, like, the engine's good, like, don't get me wrong, but we were given an engine at the beginning of the year, and that's what we were given to race with. You know, if we couldn't really change anything if it suited me or if it didn't. And this year it hasn't really suited me. But, you know, that's how it is, and I still managed to, you know, do good in the British Championship. I don't really know what happened in the World Championship this year. Like, my speed's been there most of the time, but, you know, like I said before, we had a fair few problems and lost a bit of confidence, and unfortunately I didn't have the year I wanted to.
Do you think it would make a difference if you said, okay, I've run 2 British Championships now, why don't I forget British Championships and just, if you could, just focus on GPs to see whether you can actually get your GP speed there to be top 10 or, you know, thereabouts each time?
Yeah, maybe, because sometimes, you know, in the World Championship, when I wasn't doing so good in the World Championship, I didn't really want to hurt myself for British Championship. And I was sort of halfway through a year, I was, you know, giving the British more priority than I should have, maybe. Like, you know, it's obviously I wanted to win that, and my focus was on that. But you know, when things weren't going so good in the World Championship, you know, I think when I lost my confidence a bit, I was a bit scared to get hurt. You know, because that would have just ruined my year totally. I still had something, you know, I had still had something good in the British Championship, you know, to accomplish. So. Yeah, maybe it would be good just to focus on one championship, you know, like some of the other guys have, like Mel and Tommy does. Yeah,
but of course the flip side of it is the fact if Tommy had actually, you know, we would like the British riders to ride the British events because the fans can see it. This is supposed to be a
question and answer from the fans, not you.
I'm just expanding the question. Honestly. If there's anybody available to work, take that one on the end.
Here to ask him.
All right.
Like an old man over in the corner.
Hey, you flat cap off, Lowry.
Right, our last question then, before he butts in again, is this one's from Andrew Code. It says, was it nice to win your second British title at the same place where you won your first British schoolboy title way back in 2005, if I can remember rightly, said Andrew.
Yeah, it's really special to win it there. The track was pretty much identical. Yeah, it was really, really good. You know, like I said, I enjoyed the track, and it was a perfect day. The sun was out, it was warm, and yeah, it was a very special thing to be able to win, like my second championship. And you know, what was it, like 5 years later? No, more than that.
Well, 7 years later.
Yeah, 7 years later. So yeah,
8 years later, in fact.
Yeah,
2013.
You're not going to be on Countdown anytime soon, are you, really?
No. This is why I'm a Motocross rider, not a mathematician.
No, I'm going to expand on that question. I don't care what you say.
Go on.
Have you got a room at your house or at home when you've got all your bike stuff in? Because you always see on the crib stuff or whatever, they go around the house and there's a room full of shirts and helmets and that. Have you got a room like that full of all your Motocross memorabilia?
No, it's everywhere.
That's such a short answer.
No, I have like cabinet, sort of my glory cabinet. I've got like a glass cabinet in with like the best trophies.
There's a joke there somewhere, isn't there?
Best trophies I've got and stuff in that, but no, I haven't got a room. I'd like a room.
Yeah, I think you should. I've got them all over one of the toilets, so I mean, it's just pictures of me from the magazine. Yeah, I was in the magazine, or me at Welsh Endure or whatever.
Actually, I have seen. Well, yeah, it sounds a bit weird, but I've gone into your loo to go to the loo, and there are pictures of you all over the loo.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I just don't make any reference to it. But you know, if I would be a champion at any point, man, that would be plastered. It wouldn't be just in the toilet; it'd be down the stairs, in the living room. It would be everywhere. You know, nice. you need to make the most of it. You're a British champion two times running. You need to shout about it. You need to be telling people, ram it in their face. Oh, do you know who I am? Elliott Banks Browne. Actually, 2 times champion. Actually, what are you? Just my view. Anyway.
Sat on the loo. Okay, so that was the questions from the fans. Thanks for them.
There weren't many questions for us, were there? It's all about him, isn't it?
We have got one question, actually, and this is from somebody called Dick Dastardly.
Real name.
It must be real. I don't know. You can hear him sniggering in the background.
Yeah, that was Muttley.
Was that Muttley? Was it? It was Dick Dastardly.
He owned Muttley. Well, I presume he owned Muttley. I presumed Muttley was his dog. I don't know. Yeah. They didn't explain the relationship.
But yeah, about the MX tracks, there was a couple of little posts on MX tracks recently about forum changes and stuff like that. Just to let everyone know, Dick Dastardly. The forum will undergo changes as it happens when we see fit as a company. You know, we've made a few little changes in there. We've moved a few little forums around and merged them into the bigger forums, and that's the way it is. That's we see all the figures this end, and the forum's doing fine. So guys, just carry on posting and talking about motocross, you know, rather than whinging. To be fair, but apart from that, yeah, the forum's all good.
Yeah, it works in association with the Facebook as well. Sometimes Facebook gets as many comments on, but yeah, it's not meant to be somewhere you just vent your spleen about people and moan about it. It is meant to be chat about motocross. You know, a typing version of what we're doing here, I suppose. Yeah,
definitely. Last weekend was the Monster Energy Cup, which obviously there was a surprise win, possibly James Stewart.
I think it was superb. I think it's interesting because Dungey lost that one because he didn't go into the Joker lane. It must be so difficult to get into their head. There's a comedy element to that race. They're racers, and all of a sudden they've got to go through a funny bit once in lap. And you know, you saw the bit on the we're playing the highlights video when Villapoto told him he'd missed it, and he was like, oh damn. And yet in the very next race, Villapoto did exactly the same thing, and it's really bizarre to introduce that side. It's like in the GPs. Suddenly using an element of egg and spoon race into it. They're racers. They're not used to the comedy bit of it, so it must be really hard to say, I've got to do this loop round to a little... It was a like sort of Sandy Whoop section, wasn't it?
What was your take on it, Elliot? Have you watched the highlights and stuff?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, it was pretty funny after when Dungey obviously forgot to go down a Joker lane and was like gutted.
Cost him $100,000.
Cost him $100,000. I would be gutted if it cost me $100,000. And 3 years to finish second, he must be pretty disappointed at that because, you know, he should have really won. You know, on his results, he would have got the overall, you know, without being docked. So I thought it was a good event, and it's good to see Stewart win. I was pumped for Stewart to win, and hopefully that'll give him a good bit of confidence going into the Supercross series.
It's great to see Stewart back on form because he's gradually been getting there. If he can have a good Supercross series, it would be great if he could get the championship back.
We do like Stewart. Stewart's a nice bloke.
Yeah, because I think he's got to come back to where he was. But Villapoto is so strong when he's strong. I don't think realistically. I think Dungey being second. I think Dungey's realistically did well to get those championships when he did, when Villapoto was out, because I don't think when Villapoto was on form, Dungey has enough for Villapoto. Whether Stewart can get back there, I don't know, but on the form he showed there, you know, he's coming back at him. Normally Villapoto checks out. This time Stewart is actually, the bike seems to suit him, he seems happy, but he seems focused on racing, which he hasn't been for a number of years.
It's strange, especially this year, when I was watching the AMA Supercross, like, the best thing to do would be watch for practice, because Stewart shows Stewart in practice, and in a race this year he didn't seem to show that. Like, he wasn't doing the big scrubs, he wasn't doing the big whips, and the speed he showed in practice at some points is unbelievable. So if you can look back through that and have a look, but if he can bring that form to the races next year, I don't think they'll beat him. I think he will win the championship.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when he was on the 125s. I remember watching it. That on 125, he was so quick on the 125s that the 250 guys at the time used to come out and watch Stewart in practice to see, because he was doing combinations that they weren't doing. You know, I remember seeing one. He was doing this quad combination. Nobody had tried, and it saved so long. And he's just flinging it around on the bike, and that's what you want to see, because he used to be absolutely stunning to watch.
Oh, for sure. I think at a weekend also he had a few different lines to what everyone else did. And, you know, that's just like the Stuart we used to know, like doing lines that no one else would think of.
Yeah, he said he found some lines in practice and thought those work, and every time he's able to use them and save time.
No, exactly. He's very clever at that as well. Like, he won't let anyone see him do it. Like, he'll do it once and then won't do it again. Like, if you've been to watch Supercross races, like, you've seen him do it and you're waiting there all practice, come on, do it again. And he won't do it. Comes out in the race first lap and he'll do it. And it's just playing head games a bit, I think. Yeah,
it was good. You saw there was a picture of him because Carmichael came out and did a lap, and he was throwing the big whips and so on. But they saw them alongside each other, and it's also hard to imagine because obviously Ricky had to work really hard to keep his weight down when he was racing. He's not racing now, and he's not as trim as before. It's hard to imagine the two guys were racing so hard against each other. When you saw them on the outdoor nationals, they were just superb racing. When they were both at their peak, and they were just so fast. If you Google any of the stuff of Stuart and Carmichael battles on particularly on the outdoor, they were just absolutely beasting everybody else, just superb. And yet you see them now, and it's just like they look from different generations almost, because Carmichael's given up when he was at the top, and at that weekend he was being inducted into the Hall of Fame as the greatest motocross rider ever. You can't argue with that, really.
No. Well, as I say, it was a good race. We're going to run a little video now. We've run obviously the highlights video. We'll run the brand new Miss Supercross video, and you can take a peek right now. Well, it's the end of the. I'd say it's the end of the show. Ju, have you got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. I'm just pleased at my monster spot for that.
This spot of the week. Congratulations! So. I'll put a little star above your head.
Thank you so much. Can I wear it next? No, you can stop on that, really. You bloody credited me as Shiny Head Challis in the week when he said, "Oh, come and watch my new show," you said on there.
My new show?
Yeah.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
You did.
More budget, you might be able to get a bit of makeup in here and,
what are you saying? What are you saying?
Makeup.
Hair, I don't think we're all right for the hair, but...
he's keeping his hat on every week, aren't you?
Yeah, but my head will shine because I can feel it already.
I think there's only way to show the fact... Elliot, will you kindly remove the Lowry hat?
He's staying, thank you. It's sponsored.
Yeah, it's like last of the summer wine.
Bull red.
Borat.
But yeah, so it's been a good week, and there's still plenty of stuff to talk about next week, even though it's off season. We're going into the Dirt Bike Show. Elliot, you going to be at the show?
Yeah, I'll be at the show. I'm not sure what days I'm going to be at it yet, but probably Friday, Saturday, I guess. What's the party? When's the party?
Well, we'll talk about it. We got the Moto party again next Friday of the show. So obviously that's a really exclusive party for this year because it's turned into a bit of a free-for-all. So this year it's going to be slightly different. And we're also arranging, as I said a few weeks back on the radio show, a secret party.
Is that a glittering industry dinner we're going to be hosting?
Something like that.
With canapes and nibbles and things.
There could be.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you dare do it on Thursday. Oh, no, I'm coming up on Thursday. That's fine.
It's going to be the Friday before the party. But
nice.
It's a glittering showbiz extravaganza. I think Elliot's invited as well. He doesn't know yet.
Good stuff. Yeah. Have you booked a nice hotel room this time?
We have, yeah. No, it's going to be casual, but yeah.
No, I think make it suited and booted.
No,
make it smart.
We're going to go straight to the party afterwards.
It doesn't matter. People can be smart at a party. You know, it'd be...
Party.
It's a Halloween party, isn't it? Near enough. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, it's a nice, really, really posh meal, and turn up as Frankenstein.
Can we just tell one person it's fancy dress?
Yeah,
just one, and then they just turn up.
One person turns up. That'd be brilliant. But so we've got the Dirt Bike Show preview show next week. Hopefully Ben's going to be down.
Yeah, but he said he's going to be down today, didn't he? Really?
Ben. You let us down.
We're still going to be nice to you, Ben. Still going to be nice.
Yeah,
I'm
Ben.
here, Ben. I don't know if there'd be enough room on a settee.
Yeah.
For people.
To be honest,
we
he could have lost his slot, to be honest, because I think, Elliott's done well this week. I don't know whether Ben's got a place in the team anymore.
No, Ben's got a place in the team.
You snooze, you lose, to be honest. This is 3-man sofa and there's 3 men already.
Yeah, true. Oh, apart from me with the ladies' mic. Look at it.
Now you've got that hat on, you're going to bring a whippet next week. A little bit.
Oh, yes. We got to do a question for Elliott's competition to give away his kit.
Oh, no, we're going to...
Elliott, this is putting you on the spot. Can you think of a question that we can put on? It's going to be underneath, so you can fill it out and everything else underneath the video.
Now, in the spirit of online competition, it needs to be a really simple question for which the answer is glaringly bleeding obvious.
Yeah.
What is my favourite drink?
Like it.
Tough one. Tough one. It could be too tough for that. We might need a B question in case nobody comes in with it.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. So, what is Elliott Banks' favourite drink?
Now, talking of the drinks next week, last week we did the preview video, and in the Austin Powers film when there's doing it, he's moving around with nothing on, and there's constantly something in front of him. I did the whole of the show with a can directly in front of my crotch. Now this week, somewhat irritatingly, it's a smaller can. I assure you, I do need the big can. The big can is what we need. A can and a mug, to be honest.
But yes, so the question is, what is Elliott Banks' favourite drink? Don't know.
You could win loads of stuff.
Yeah, you can win Elliott's kit, which is behind, his jersey's behind. And
is it worn or clean?
Worn.
Clean. Worn, clean.
Clean but worn.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. So, and Oakley goggles at the front as well. And we'll send you a few cans of Red Bull as well.
Fantastic. Anyway, they won't notice that. That's fine.
We cut that bit.
Don't do your wave early. That's at the end of the show.
Yeah. So until next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.